Hello everybody, welcome to Streetlight Babble, where we'll be doing our spoiler review of what, Jake?
Of Spider-Man Homecoming. That is right, ladies and gentlemen, this is a spoiler review, so with the erection of the trusted spoiler switchblade, we'll get into some spoiler content. So, that's how piratey of you. There's no pirates in Spider-Man Homecoming, or are there?
Only the pirates who take the movie and shine their blades against the camera.
Yes. Like the great days of old.
Yes.
Alright, so a lot of what we're going to be talking about is going to be kind of Vulture-oriented, just kind of things that we weren't able to talk about in our non-spoiler review. Because, let's face it, this movie, even though the Spider-Man was the person on the top billing, this really seemed more like the Vulture's story than it did Spider-Man's story.
Yeah, it was very Vulture-centric. I think Marvel's heard the cries of the masses for a good villain, and they've gone ahead and given us a pretty good developed villain. In fact, they went as far as to make his daughter the love interest of Peter Parker.
Yep, her name is Liz, and there's a great reveal scene where Peter's going, he asks her to homecoming, she's a senior and he's a sophomore, but she says yes for some reason anyway.
Because he's Peter Parker, dude. And have you seen him without his shirt on? He's
yoked.
He's yoked. He's not yoked. He's not like The Rock. He's more just cut. He's just like, he's got definition. Looked like it was CG'd onto him, but still, it's
spider abs.
Definition.
But yeah, so he goes, he knocks on the door gets opened, and surprise, Vulture!
It's the guy who should have won an Oscar.
Michael Keaton.
That year. Instead of Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
Because Eddie Redmayne's only good when he has a director who can point him in the right direction, but without that, he sucks. And Michael Keaton's always good.
Michael Keaton's even good in Mr. Mom. But we're not talking about Mr. Mom, we're talking about Spider-Man Homecoming. So, one of the more interesting things, or kind of cool aspects that they did with the Vulture in this, is they made him a scavenger. They go around...
Well,
exactly. It's like...
He's a vulture!
He's a vulture. Vultures are scavengers, and he goes around from different superhero tragedy to different superhero tragedy to steal the tech from the aliens or the bad guys.
Yes, cleans up some Ultron bots, cleans up some...
he has some
Chitauri stuff, some Dark Elf stuff,
I was going to say, yeah, he had some black hole grenades from the Dark Elves. So
yeah, that's all really cool. I like that they kind of showed that point, and that somebody's definitely making a profit, and that is the Vulture.
And he is making it rain.
He is. He's got his crew, which is comprised of
the Tinkerer, who is played by an actor, I can't remember his name right now, but he is in the show Orange is the New Black. He plays the main character's brother.
Okay.
And also he has the Shocker, both 1 and Shocker 2.
He kills the first Shocker
on
accident. After that Shocker threatens to expose everything to his family, he's just like, well, let's see explode now. And then he incinerates him. He's like, I thought this was supposed to be the gravity gun.
I was like, I thought it was an anti-gravity gun.
Whatever. But he seemed not to care much, so that sure showed the lengths he was willing to go from a good old construction man to a cold-blooded killer.
Cold-blooded killer, like one of your favorite characters, and one I've always been kind of blasé about, Heisenberg, from the Breaking of the Bads.
Heisenberg's alright.
But yeah, so we got that, and then they also, for those of you who are going to see this movie for Donald Glover, a.k.a. Childish Gambino, a.k.a. hilarious guy from Community, he's in the movie for all of about 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, he's just some gangbanger. I think everybody's excited thinking he would be Miles Morales, but no.
But he's playing the Prowler, who is, in the comics, Miles Morales' uncle. And he mentions that he has a nephew wandering around the streets of Queens, so it's heavily hinted that they're going to eventually bring Miles Morales into the fold.
I got a nephew. And yeah, but he did everybody did a pretty good job. The Shocker 1 and 2 were pretty fun.
They were good henchmen, and Shocker's always kind of more of a henchman villain, which I think it worked for the character.
Yep. And who else was part of his crew? Those are the only really identifiable ones.
Yeah, there were a couple other people, but those are the ones that they actually gave character to. His plot.
Yeah, his plot was just to scrounge up things, and by the end of the movie, he had one last job to steal all of Tony Stark's tech and Thor's belt.
And Captain America's prototype
Captain
shield.
America's prototype shield and all that. And with that, pretty much he'd be set for life. Of course, Peter Parker foils him, captures him, and captures his love of his daughter, only to have it just slip through his fingers as she goes to the place where everybody goes to hide when one of their family members is a criminal.
Oregon.
Or Alaska.
Yeah.
Oregon or Alaska.
Because the final fight was a lot of fun. It's in the trailer.
It is in the trailer.
The scene where they're fighting
plane.
on the plane, but there's kind of a cool effect. The plane is fitted with these reflective panels, kind of similar to how the helicarriers are in the Avengers movies. And basically, because they're fighting around on these panels, they start malfunctioning, and there's these cool little light streaks that are going on while they're fighting around, and a lot of fun color there.
It's pretty visually striking.
Yeah.
Still think Guardians is the prettiest. Guardians 2 is the prettiest of all these movies, but
hands down.
But there was also the spoilers that the trailers kind of gave. There's that scene. If you've seen the trailer, you know what scene. It's on the ferry when the Vulture's his gun splits the ferry in half, and Spider-Man he's trying to fix it. Tony Stark puts it back together, and then Tony Stark confronts him and is like, you know what, I'm taking the suit. I'd rather have that scene just be in the movie and not in the trailer, because I'd like to see it as a sort of a surprise, kind of a parental moment for Tony Stark. I'm taking the suit back, bitch.
If you're nothing without the suit, then you don't deserve it.
And that's something Tony learned in Iron Man 3, which is pretty cool. Pretty cool. Showing off his character.
Which kind of development. Kind of goes back to one of my favorite, not my number one favorite, but one of the better scenes. There's a scene where Peter goes to confront the Vulture, and the Vulture basically just brings an entire building down on him, and he's stuck in the rubble, and he starts calling out for help, and then he realizes, no wait, I'm Spider-Man. No one's gonna help me. I have to help myself, and he basically uses his super strength to kind of get all this rubble off of him, but
and that's it is show that his development as a character, his sort of childishness and sort of beginning to mature, going from wanting to be an Avenger to kind of wanting to be more of his own person before he is an Avenger. That's what I'm assuming, because in the end he turns down being an Avenger, and
at the Avengers new complex in upstate New York.
New York.
Several movies ago, we went to. I won a trivia question because I was the only one who knew the name of the facility and where it was.
And what was the name of the facility?
It's called the New Avengers Facility, and the location is upstate New York.
Okay. Oops. Up the wide and expansive upstate New York.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay.
But yeah, he turns it down. That basically we get a real quick glimpse at the Iron Spider suit. Peter turns it down, and Tony Stark's like, well, there was 50 reporters in the room over there. Put on the suit, and then we'll go talk to them. Peter's like, no, thanks. I kind of want to do my own thing right now. And he's like, oh yeah, that was totally a test. Yeah, you go do your Spider-Man things.
And of course, they open the door, and there's 50 reporters.
The Pepper Potts makes a 10-second cameo.
Little cameo, which is pretty.
It's nice scene.
Looks like Gwyneth Paltrow needs some more money. Goop ain't working out for her.
Goop.
Her little. Just Google Goop if you don't know. Goop Gwyneth Paltrow.
But don't Google jade eggs and Goop.
Aunt May also. Peter gets real.
He gets excited because Tony gives him the suit back at the end of the movie, and he puts it on and forgot to close his door.
And of course, Aunt May catches him, which is pretty good little cherry on top of the movie. Yeah,
they ended on a cut from a swear word.
Yep.
What the
fuck? And that's how it goes. And Mary Jane's in this movie.
Yep.
So basically,
MJ.
There was a side sort of throwaway kind of character, and she was kind of one of Peter's friends. Sort of this the loner artist protester, kind of doesn't give a fuck about much type character. And we thought everybody's like, oh, her name's Michelle. She's just there's a friend. And then she's like, oh, my friends call me MJ. And then she kind of, as Peter walks away at the end of the movie, even though she's had no indication of kind of liking him before, as he walks away, she's kind of like,
where are you going?
Oh, no. And she's like, where are you going? Yeah. And then she's like, and he's trying to explain. She's like, I don't care. And then he walks off.
Away, and then she's like,
she's kind of gives him the googly eyes, which I don't know. She's pretty much the opposite of Mary Jane, because in the comics, Mary Jane, she cares too much. She's
like a model actress,
a preppy model actress, and this one's an SJW who doesn't give a fuck. So that'd be an interesting dynamic. There wasn't really much to show that they were going to have a relationship. Not much chemistry between them
until they drop the MJ line.
But if the actors are good enough, they will be able to smooth out a nice little relationship between the two in a future Spider-Man movie.
Exactly.
Which it'll be nice maybe after Infinity War to have a Spider-Man film that isn't so that doesn't feel the weight of the whole cinematic universe on its back.
Yeah.
Maybe something that just all that Avengers stuff happened, and now we get to now I'm just gonna be Spider-Man by myself here in New York and fighting maybe the Sinister Six or Green Goblin or Mysterio. Hopefully Mysterio. I'd love to see Mysterio.
We'll talk about that in a second, but first we got to talk about the best part of the movie. The Captain America PSAs.
Yes, so Captain America has evidently we've learned, has recorded a bunch of PSAs for kids and high schoolers. And pretty much he becomes everybody's stepdad, where he turns the chair around
and is like, so you got yourself in detention.
Got yourself in detention, didn't you? Well, yeah, there's some lessons you gotta learn. And of course, the end credit scene is a Captain America PSA about patience.
It's about patience and basically trolling the audience about end credit scenes.
Being disappointed, basically. It's like about patience and the important lessons you learn from disappointment, and that's the end credits scene. So you don't have to stay for it if you don't. Yeah, that's one of them. The other one's a little
bit more related. I'm going to turn this back around. It's a little bit more related to the Sinister Six. There's a scene with the Scorpion and the Vulture in jail. Mm-hmm. Scorpion's in this movie. I think we might have touched on that in our
the Scorpion's at the very end in a mid-credit scene, and he's just sort of. And he asks for the Peter Parker's identity from the Vulture, which I don't know how he got the information that the Vulture may know who Peter Parker is, or who Spider-Man is. Peter Parker.
Yeah.
but Vulture's like, no, I don't know. If I knew who he was, he'd be dead. Which is like, are you being nice or are you being mean? I don't know.
But yeah, so I think that's a little bit more of a tease for the kind of a Sinister Six-esque thing.
It'd be interesting to see a new Sinister Six. I definitely want to see Mysterio adapted to the big screen.
Mysterio's my favorite Spidey villain.
I need to see Mysterio adapted to the big screen, or maybe you can put him in the Marvel, a Marvel Daredevil. Make a.
You know who should play him?
Who?
One of the MythBusters. Because for those of you who don't know, Mysterio doesn't have any superpowers. He's just like a props and effects man who becomes a villain.
Oh yeah, it should be I don't know, evil Adam Savage.
That would be hilarious.
It's Jamie Hyman.
As Mysterio.
The Walrus Man. All right, that'd be pretty funny. But yeah, there we go. That's some spoilers from Spider-Man: Homecoming. My thoughts on they did bring an interesting element that we couldn't really talk about in the non-spoilers section. I like some of the twists and turns, some of which I wouldn't have seen coming if I didn't
see the trailer.
See the trailer, and also had spoilers told to me beforehand that one of the kids was related to good old the Vulture, because I already knew that going in, because somebody likes to do his research, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, it was a fake spoiler. What they did was they released a little bit of the junior novelization. But instead of it being Liz Tomes, they said it was Michelle Tomes.
Yep, so they messed with us a little bit. Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. I still knew that one of the girls he knew was related to the Vulture. Whatever. But it was an alright movie. I still say about a 6 or 7 out of 10. There were parts that could have done better. I wish it would have had more focus on just Spider-Man.
But overall, it was a fun, enjoyable movie. I'm definitely going to go see it again.
Yeah, it'll be enjoyable. And because I didn't actually get a ticket from it, because we actually went to 2 separate AMCs, because I was like, oh, Jake's going to buy the tickets, I'll pay him back. And I kind of missed the part where it was at Flatirons, and then the people at my AMC that I went to, they just scanned it, and of course it wouldn't work because it's the wrong one, but they were just like, come on in fine. Anyway. So they just let me in.
So we saw it at 2 different theaters?
At the same time. So... I was just like, I kind of want to text Jake throughout but I saw mine was first. It was 15 minutes before, so it's like I'm 15 minutes ahead of Jake. Yeah.
Yeah. So he technically saw the movie before I did.
Yep. So there we go. That's an interesting little fact about your local AMC theaters is they might just not care and let you in.
Yeah, especially if it's late enough at night.
Yeah, especially if it's late enough, because I could just tell she was just tired. She's like, whatever.
Whatever,
Just
the theater's not full.
in.
I'm just gonna.
There's like 20 people in my theater, whatever. So yeah, that's Spider-Man: Homecoming spoiler review. Still 6 out of 7. Still a pretty good movie. I wasn't bored. Pretty kind of funny. Wanted more MJ. And MJ.
Yeah, more MJ and more Aunt May.
More MJ, more Aunt May, because I wanted to see them developed, but hopefully we'll get more of that in the next one, and hopefully the next one won't be barred down as much by the Marvel Universe. So I'll
see y'all later.
We're going to do Planet of the Apes next, probably.
Probably. Bye.